Jack, and I'm just telling you my story. So, this is how it began. They found me in my room, in the surgery I mean. I got to work about 8 AM that day, the usual. Pretty bleary-eyed, as usual. Already had my morning temazepam. Got in, and I was feeling a little hard. It was feeling a little harder on me than usual. The headache, the nausea, the eyes, they just don't want to stay open. So I had an extra diazepam, which helped for about all of 10 minutes before I figured out a shot of Sambuca I used to keep on my desk, and a quick 5-minute nap seemed like a good idea. I think it was about 20 minutes into my unseen appointments that a receptionist felt the need to check on me. That's when it all went downhill, or uphill, depending on how you look at it. A report was made. The police were suddenly involved when someone, somewhere, figured out the schemes I'd used. And before I knew it, I was in court with 16 charges of fraud, landed me with an 8-month jail term, 18-month suspension from the GMC, and 100 hours of community service. It was pretty simple, actually. Use a few random names and addresses from the records from patients that never come in. Use the various supermarket pharmacies. So I'm just one of the few hundred faces they see that day. When someone asks why I did it, it always takes me a while to come up with an answer. I was always one of the party animal medics. I was the rugby captain, in charge of some of the messiest socials you could ever imagine. I'm pretty sure I coined the term work hard, party harder. And I still always made it to 9 AM lectures. Maybe not as on point as my sober and not hungover peers, but functioning. I was still in the 80s and 90s for exams, so obviously alcohol didn't have too bad an effect on me. Or the occasional drug-fueled night. I've always been a bit of a machine. I never needed much sleep. So I got through the degree, passed training, became a GP, and suddenly I'm not always surrounded by friends and acquaintances and happy faces I have an occasional chat with while I'm getting things done. I'm alone in a cream-walled room, seeing ill person after sick person, and caring, yes, enjoying the job, but having to rush them. Not to let it get too long. Then they leave, and it's silence again. I get home at 7, and again, it's my empty flat. Maybe I'll ring someone, or they'll ring, and suddenly there's a bunch of us in the pub, most likely moving on to a club or a bar, or one of our apartments, where it seems a good idea to keep on drinking. Have a snort of this, a pill of that. I've developed quite a taste for Coke. Quite often my collection of prescription pills would get cracked out as well. And then I'm waking up at 6:30 the next morning, feeling like death or like crawling into a hole, never coming out again. And that would be a nice option. So I have a few pills to ease the pain. A little codeine, some ibuprofen, maybe some diazepam to cheer my mood, and the cycle starts again. When I started dealing with it, my main feeling was that I shouldn't be there. I don't belong in the patient's chair, having to answer questions to a doctor. My equal asks me. It just wasn't right. I'm the person that the people come to for help. Why was I the one here having to deal with my history? And I think about why I do the things I do. To be honest, it took a long time before I would stop being a doctor and be the patient that accepted that he needed someone to help. I sometimes think back to the vodka bottle I used to have on my desk, or whiskey or gin, or depending on the flavour of that week, or the many pills I had stashed at the back of the drawers. How could I no longer get through the day, no longer function without them? And I wonder how I thought it was just fine, having a tablet after unprescribed tablet with the occasional shot. I wonder just how I got there. Took a while, but I'm here now, back in work, remembering why I love medicine. I keep nights out to the weekend, drug-free, and remember the drinking guidelines I give to my patients. I'm definitely not at university anymore.